final segment of our program today, and speaking with two young youth ministers. And gentlemen, if there's one problem that we have to come to terms with in 2015 is the level of anger in the society.
Yes, sir.
Anger among young people and anger among ordinary citizens who are angry about the level of crime in the society. We have to work together as a country to reduce the level of anger that we have in the society, wouldn't you say?
I agree, correct, because, and what we often call anger is essentially back to frustrated people.
Yes.
They are frustrated because a lot of them, and when I talk to them, even a lot of my colleagues who are off to college, a lot of them are coming back because they come back to a system or a society where they feel frustrated. Like there's no room for growth, there's no room for expansion. And so you have these young, and even these young men who I spoke about earlier, who have this thing whereas they can't find a job, or when they find a job, once the boss finds that they have a record, they let them go off the job. So now, or they get pressure from young ladies to provide for this certain appetite that the young ladies have, and then they go out there to rob and steal and all that kind of stuff. You find that we are living in a frustrated society. And we can only work that by helping these people, even in ministry, helping them find some kind of vision for their life, helping them find some kind of real. And that's what Christianity is all about. In the midst of darkness, in the midst of all this calamity, finding some kind of hope to let them know that. And even with the audience, you have persons, I'm sure, who are watching this program, who are themselves frustrated and angry because they feel like they have no way to turn, nowhere to go, whatever like that. That's what ministry is about, giving these people some kind of light. And I think that's what we are called to do, even in youth ministry this year. And like DJ Counsellor said, we have some unconventional young leaders coming up now who I believe are called to help with this aggravation. But like we also said too, it starts with leadership who actually have the ability to do something about it.
I think one of you said that we have to put some money into these programs. We have to, if you have a Ministry of National Security and you're funding that heavily, you should also fund youth programs heavily in the society. The bottom line is that we do not have in the Bahamas nationally organized youth programs that are well funded by the state.
Very true.
And the state wants to reduce the level of violence and anger in the society, but they do not have the requisite programs that are well funded to reduce the level of violence and anger.
Goes back to vision. This goes back to vision.
Goes back to vision.
Yes, sir. See, if our leaders could see where we're heading and what we can do to prevent it, they'll find the funding. And it isn't difficult to know. The money is there, but just channeling it. We do have a lot of successful youth programs now operating, dozens of them, that are successful, but not properly funded. And so it's possible, if the funding is there, their numbers could change from a few dozen to a few hundred. You know, one of the things that the FNM did a few years ago, they started something called a national program. And I think it's important if we could somehow stir that back up.
Which FNM?
The last government.
Where they started that program?
Well,
You're talking about the program that Jeff Lloyd had in Andrews?
No, sir. No,
well,
sir.
What are you
This
talking
was. It was a national. I think I try to remember who was spared. It was.
I wish you can remember.
No, I can remember right now. I went to the launch.
Where was that?
The launch was at the Millennium. Right. Malia, yeah, this was when...
You're talking about a work program. You're not talking about a national youth program.
No, national program where it was taking names, hundreds of names from all around the country. They were screening them and just utilize them in every aspect of our community. See, if we can get our citizenry...
What happened to that program, DJ?
Of course, anytime a political party comes in, it squashes it.
What program is that?
Listen, man, listen. It was called a national program.
When you come back on the program,
Ministry of Youth, and I tell you right now, the Ministry of Youth, the late Charles Maynard was a part of it also. This was one of I think
But that was an employment kind of
no,
program.
sir, it wasn't, no,
That-
sir. This was a voluntary program. And I sit back there and I was like amazed. Hundreds of individuals came there, sir, and just given their names to volunteer.
And what happened?
Well, if the PLP loses the next election,
No. What happened to the
Urban will be
program? No,
gone.
the FNM had the program.
Right.
You said.
They lost the election, and so the program went.
This is the volunteering.
Yeah, the
Is this
voluntary
300
program.
Connect, that one?
It was-
300 Connect?
No, I think it was more. I can't remember the exact naming of it,
Okay.
but I was there to the launch and I saw the hundreds of folks giving their names. They were able to email their names in, go on the website, yes sir. And what they were starting to do was something new in this country. Because if we could get more folks involved in our communities, my God, we have some
That
self-pride.
was a program to
It wasn't
get
for jobs.
people
That's-
involved in jobs and
No, sir.
careers, man.
No,
That
sir.
was no national
No, sir.
youth
We had-
program.
we had
As a matter
all-
of fact, the youth program that was in Andros, that is the only youth program that I know.
No, this wasn't a youth program. This was just a national program.
Well, don't call it a youth
No, it was
program
a
then.
national program.
Don't mislead the public
all-
and say that the FNM government had a national youth program.
No, they had a
because that
national
ain't true.
program. No, well, okay, they had a national program.
That is not true.
Okay, it's not true. It's
All right,
they had a
Mr.
national
Jones, I
program.
So I don't want to end this program.
all of the government
I don't want
entities.
to end this program with you misleading the public.
No, sir.
that there was a national youth program.
No, a
because
national
I've
program.
been-
I only called the Ministry of Youth, who was a part of it. All of their sub organizations were there, and you were able to come and volunteer to be a part of these organizations who are already in the communities. All I'm trying to say is, somebody please light the candle again so we could create something
we have
nationally.
never had a national youth program in this country.
No, sir, I was talking about a national
Never.
program.
But Mr.
Never,
Jones,
ever.
I
Okay?
think that we are coming around, even coming around the
So what's
bend
urban
in-
renewal to you?
That's not a national youth program.
No.
The urban renewal program is exactly what it says. It's an urban renewal program where they're fixing up houses, there's a cleanup campaign, the police is involved, there's community policing, and there are various components. A national youth program is designed to bring about discipline among the youthful population of the country.
Is
That has never happened.
Is this what Sir Lyndon spoke about years ago?
That has never happened.
But Mr. Jones, even later this year, and I was a part of this working group of highly intelligent, different young people who are part of this national youth policy that was recently brought to Parliament, and so I believe that we are on the turning point for youth service, because this lays out all of the programs, all of the implementation schemes, all of the objectives, and I was a part of this dynamic team that had fielded some family island youth to find out the issues on the islands and find ways that we can address these issues. So I believe that we are on the turning point for youth development in this country.
Very good. I'm happy to hear that. And let's hope that it happens in 2015.
Hopefully it does.
We're going to make sure it happens.
You're going to make sure it happens.
Yes, sir.
You're going to...
We're going to make sure it happens.
How?
I mean, how, sir?
How?
Initiate it. Start it.
I think everybody
We
where
can
they
stop
I think everybody where they are ought to be able to do what they can do where they are. The Lord gives you leadership position so that while you're in office, you do what you have to do. Yeah. While I serve as National Baptist Youth Director, with the Baptist churches, with the Baptist youth, we will do what we have to do to deal with this problem. And it's not just church stuff. It's developing the whole man. This is social, this is economic, this is spiritual, everything. And so we have things that are applied. Because I believe that you just can't shine an eye your way through everything. You have to be able to be a socialized individual, a highly disciplined individual, and then as I sit as National Baptist Youth Director, I'll ensure that these programs go forward.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
And I thank you so very much for being here today.
Yes, sir.
Come back again.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
You don't have to wait for DJ Counsellor to invite you. Okay? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
It's
for
a
being
pleasure
here.
always.
And we'll see you over the New Year's, eh?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for watching and listening to our program today. We hope you enjoyed it. Good evening, everyone.